Hello, Internet! Welcome to Two and a Half Brains. This is our weekly Survivor recap episode, Survivor Season 43, Episode 6. Gonna break it all down, talk all about it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page. We're Pavement Road Productions on Facebook. Email the show directly at pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, tell your friends, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Obviously, it's been another very, very busy week. We got a politics show out here with the election coming up. We had to get one out. We have an Amazing Race show coming out as well, and Survivor, obviously. So be sure to subscribe to get it all. And anything you don't, follow, you can obviously just delete it. But let's go ahead and dive on in here, Jessica. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, okay. I'm doing fine.
Just ended my mental breakdown. Let's keep going.
All right, excellent. The house on fire, but no big deal. Let's keep going.
Exactly. I'm wearing gonna wear a shirt. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we'll talk about the Survivor episode here, and get a little breakdown of that, and then go from there. Speaking of breakdowns,
I'm triggered.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're gonna go over some stuff here with Survivor, and you can tell the jokes you told me a minute ago. And I'll have a little fun here. Try to keep it about a half hour, 40 minutes, and then go from there.
Sounds
Try to get
good.
the Survivor episode out tonight, then maybe Amazing Race tonight as well, or maybe Thursday. But Jessica with us because it's been working for our schedule. It probably won't be going forward too much, the rest of the season. Some of it, but obviously when we have our vacations, all that, it's going to be hard to do. So we'll see what happens. But either way.
I'm very lucky I grace with my present during this time.
Yes.
Every week.
Yes. Well, it's been working so far. It probably won't every week, but we're happy to have her when we can have her.
Viciously.
Cool. So let's go ahead and get started with, as we always do, three most that mattered. We'll talk about who did not survive and what they did wrong, and then top three and bottom three of the week. This one's a little bit harder, but we'll talk about it and how we came to our spot. So, are you ready, Jessica?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started with three most that matter. Moment number one.
Number one, earn the merge.
Yeah. So what was that all about?
So they split the teams into two, or tribe into two teams. There was one outlier who got to pick which team they wanted to align with. That was Noelle. She went with the blue team. And between blue and red, whoever won got immunity for the tribal. And then the other team basically was open for, fishing, if you will,
Yes.
to vote for. And then the winning tribe also got a nice feast and beer and such.
For sure. And so Noelle, they've done it before where they swap into a team and you get to pick. And they swap the tribe into two, and then you get to pick who you want to ride with. And if you're right, you get the reward. If you're wrong, you get not you lose.
No breaking of the glass. Goodbye with that.
Yeah, no hourglass, which is nice. They just did it way simpler, and I like it better, obviously. If you want to do a twist with that, fine, but it can't be that powerful. Honestly, if you want to do that, here's what I would propose if you want to do that. I'd propose if you're going to do that breaking of the glass thing, instead of breaking of the glass, you can swap with one person.
Yeah.
Who won.
Yeah.
And then you're screwing over one person, you're giving yourself immunity, taking away from somebody else.
Yeah, I could get on board.
That would be fine, but that's as far as you can't take immunity from six people and give it to six people. That's just
Right.
That's ridiculous.
So Noelle, and you know what the L stands for? Leg. She's got no leg.
No
L.
L-E-G.
No leg. Got it.
Yeah, so she has all the leg puns that she hasn't used, but Jessica has them.
I've had a bunch of leg puns on her behalf apparently because she doesn't want to say any.
Yeah, I'd say give her a hand, but she has two of those.
I'm really tired. That was funny though.
All right, so the merge, obviously that's what happened, and the blue team won. Who was the blue team? The blue team or the red team won?
No,
Or
blue team won.
yeah.
It was Jesse, James.
No,
No,
not Jesse James.
exactly. No, Jesse, Ryan, Carla, Janine, Gabler, and not Owen, not Sammy,
and hold on,
another boy, I think.
there's only three left in the game, so yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't Ellie.
No.
Oh, Noelle.
No, she ended at 6 though.
Yeah, I know. And
she
then
was on that
someone
team.
else.
She was just the one who picked them.
Well, yeah, I know. But
it was the other Dwight.
Dwight.
And Dwight is the ninja of the season because you can name the entire cast, you wouldn't think of Dwight because he hasn't been on the show at all.
Right. That's it.
Dwight. Yeah. So they won, and they all got to go to the merge, get their buffs. And obviously, Jeff's like, "Okay, you have to earn your buff now." Blah blah blah. If everybody else and try the vote, blah blah blah, like they've done the last 2 seasons.
Right.
Same thing they've done, just without all the other stuff.
Right.
What else?
Left.
Exactly. And what's the moment matter number 2 then?
Baka broken.
Yeah, Baka broken.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
So Baka, what was that, Ellie and all them?
The yellow team?
The yellow team, yes. I mean, they were obviously fractured because, Ellie and Janine didn't like Gabler, and then Gabler was working more with Sammy and Owen, and then all of a sudden Ellie is throwing out names of other people and trying to, create chaos and basically not really aligning with her old tribe, but they weren't really getting along anyways.
Well, I think I disagree with that actually quite a bit.
What do you disagree with?
So what Ellie said, what you were right about is she was throwing names out and she was running the show, or trying to
run the show.
And she was saying, and as always, she said, "I'm doing so well this game," and that always means you're going out. That means 100% of the time you're going out. When you say that, 100% of the time. So what I would say though, I wouldn't say she was going against her allies because there was nobody. She wasn't voting against her allies.
No,
she couldn't really vote against her allies because she could have, I guess, but she was telling them, "Hey, we're gonna use Cody as the decoy. We're split between Cassidy and James."
But did she have that conversation with Sammy and Owen? I don't really remember that.
I think she had it with Janine, but she might have had it with Sammy and Owen. I'm not sure, but she didn't. So I wouldn't say she was targeting that, or she wasn't going against them, but she wasn't really taking their input either.
Well, right. Because Janine and Gabler were at the feast, and then Sammy and Owen were there, but she wasn't really working with them to
I don't really know. I can't really remember.
Come up with a plan. I mean, she was definitely just trying to run the show.
Well, right. And so James, she said, "Well, we're telling James that it's Cody, and everybody else is actually for James and Cassidy."
Yeah.
So she talked to James, and James was like, "So who are you voting for?" She goes, "Well, I want the Blues to sit together, I want the Yellows to sit together." Yeah. And he's like, "So that means Cody." She's like, "Well, that Cody's the one that left out." So she was trying to play it really cute. She was trying to be like, James said your name. I didn't say your name. I just limited all the other options so he could say your name, And, so it wasn't, so I would say she was taking the game and playing it really, really hard, especially at the merge. And at the merge is the time you definitely want to just glob onto somebody. Right. So I wouldn't say
glob. Anyways,
glom onto somebody.
Glom or glob.
Glom.
I'm gonna glob onto somebody like.
That's cute. Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think so. I wouldn't say she was going against her tribe, but she definitely wasn't working with them. But
she was playing way too hard, too fast. You can't do that.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But I think the reason the Baka broke up was because Gabler threw Ellie's name out there. And
Gabler threw Ellie's name out there, and then also blew up Sammy and Owen, saying that he got his information from Sammy and Owen.
And so that's more what I was going for, yeah.
Baka is broken.
Yes, because because Gabler said, "Oh yeah, she went through my bag, blah blah," and then she said, "I didn't go through your bag," and I guess Janine kind of did, maybe,
Janine definitely did.
Janine did, but Ellie was there.
Yeah.
So whatever.
She was being encouraged by Ellie to do it. So yeah.
Right. So Gabler said at the merge feast with 6 other people sitting there. He says, "I don't trust Ellie because of this. She was in my bag." And then Ellie's like, "Well, why'd you say that? Because it wasn't me." And he said, "Well, Owen and Sammy told me it was you."
Right.
So he blew up the whole thing. And so Baka at that point was pretty, and they're like, "Oh, we'll still work together. That's fine." It's like, yeah, if you get through this vote, maybe you will, but you're definitely not working together long term. There's no way.
No, not unless he can get his fractured alliance back together.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like either one was going to be willing to do it.
I mean, Janine is on the outs anyways. If Sammy and Owen will work back together with Gabler is whether or not the only question. But.
Sure, and they said and Ellie was kind of on the outs. She felt like she was in a good spot, but she was on the outs the whole time. And not for nothing, but the Yellow Tribe said they worked really hard to keep their numbers together, so they lost the first person and then haven't lost anybody since. But they also went to the merge with the most people, right? And they said they did because they want to have 5 people at the merge, but one tribe has 4, and the other tribe has 4, and you have 5, well,
Not to me.
either you're gonna, it's clear, it's obvious that you're the the threat. The tribe with the most people is the threat.
Right.
And so and they also said that the yellow was working with red previously,
Yep.
right? It's because they want to help knock out blue.
Yep.
But they were just doing that to knock out the numbers of blue.
Right.
So they thought they would work together at the merge, but that wasn't necessarily the case.
Right.
What's moment number 3?
Advantages everywhere.
Exactly, and obviously people know because nothing can be really a secret because obviously with the advantage you have to go around and grab the things off everybody's all the beads, and then also all these people who went to the summits where they would get an advantage or lose their vote or whatever. So all those things going into it.
However, only the people that did the bead thing know about it unless they shared their information previously. And I think the only one that did that was, Janine and Ellie both knew about it.
Knew about
and
Cody's.
Then, yeah, I knew about Cody's.
Because Noel was talking about it.
Well, yeah, Noel talked about it, but who was the other one? No one knows about Carla's.
No.
But the other one, who was helping? It wasn't Carla. Was it not Jesse? Who got the one on the red tribe?
That's Cody.
Cody, not red, yellow.
That was Janine.
Yeah, Janine and Allie and Janine work together.
Yeah.
To get the beads.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't show everybody knowing everything, but
No, but the people that did know about it, and you overheard Noel talking about making that hat together, they already knew what was going on with that, and then whether or not the people share the information that went to the island, whatever.
the summit.
The summit, yeah.
Yeah, and
they shared that.
It seems like Noelle still doesn't know that that's an idol, which is crazy. I can't imagine she can't know that.
She's either playing a really good show or she really doesn't know. I don't think she knows.
I think she seems very naive. Doesn't know the game that well.
Same.
But like I said,
Gabler.
Oh, Gable had the one that's expired now.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so and then and Owen was going through kind of saying what he knows. He seems he knew about 4 of the advantages. He didn't know about Carla. Didn't know about. He didn't know about Carla. Didn't know about.
Steal a vote. Who has the
He
steal
knew
a vote?
that's Noelle. He knew that.
Okay.
He didn't know about Carla's. And he didn't know about Cody's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because Ellie and them didn't tell him.
Right.
Because they're close allies.
Mm-hmm.
And so Baka broke up. But there's advantages in it. So obviously going to the thing, it's like, well, there's this. Gabler has an idol. He should have played it, even though he wants to take home to his kids. Play it. Buy them $1 million worth of stuff when you win. Like, just do that.
Yeah, who would you played it on just to earn trust with somebody?
Yeah, or trust somebody. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Sam. Or not Sammy.
Owen.
Or Owen. Or Sammy. Or he could have just been like, hey, James, I want to work with you going forward. Here you go.
Yeah, especially if his alliance is fractured.
Yeah, and he knows that they're throwing votes, and James, he can say, "Hey, James, I'm gonna save you, and play this on you."
Right.
Because it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they already knew he had it, so they were talking about before. Oh, if you don't tell your allies that you have an advantage, are they really your allies? Right. Yeah. And if you play an advantage, they don't know about it. Then, then you could be blowing up your own game by playing advantage and people didn't know about. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem, so that would be a problem, but that's not the case for Gabler because everybody knew he had it. Everybody his whole tribe knew he had it. So he could have made a play for himself and didn't know that. But again, sometimes playing big is not always the best way to go. Mm-hmm. So speaking of playing big, Jessica, let's talk about who did not survive.
Ellie.
All right, Elizabeth Ellie. Yes. What happened? What did she do wrong?
Oh man, crazy eyes. Like I said before, she played too fast, too hard, too soon. She played very fast and the furious, and she should have been sleeping and not being so direct about everything. And she was trying to direct people more than actually talk to them about what they want to do and just really try and run her game the way she wants it to be played.
Yeah, and obviously she didn't expect Gabler to do what he did, but the fact that Gabler did that, they all had confirmation bias, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, Ellie, I don't trust her. And they're all like, whoa, where'd that go? Why did you throw that out there? That we didn't really, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because I guess they're all saying who they wanted to save,
Yeah.
and he said who he doesn't want to save.
Right. But him saying that, they heard Ellie was kind of scrambling anyways because she was trying to make, she's the only one of the six that can be voted out. She's trying to maneuver, which all makes sense. And there's 3 Yellow Heat members, so again, that makes sense that she's trying to scramble. But when Gabler says, "I was lying with her, I don't trust her," they're like, "You're right, she is making moves."
Yeah.
Right. And so she didn't necessarily know that was gonna happen, but the fact that she was being kind of fanatic, kind of running around and making and saying, "Well, we're not gonna tell Cody. Cody's gonna be the decoy. We're gonna tell everybody else Cody." Well, if you're gonna do that, you gotta bring Cody in, right? Because then Cody hears about it from Ryan or Dwight or whatever, and then he's like, "Well, why should you go after me? Let's go after her." Well, she was actually going after you, but she was running around doing a million things at once, and then Gabler put that seed in everybody's head that you can't trust her, and now they can't trust her.
Right.
Now she just proved that she can't be trusted, because even if she had the best intentions, it doesn't matter because now it's painted in that brush.
Right.
Right. Like somebody tells you that person's super nice and they're mean to you, you're thinking, oh, they're just having a bad day. Somebody tells you they're a jerk and they're mean to you, like they are a jerk. Just kind of whatever the seed gets planted in your head, you kind of look through that lens. And even though Ellie, yes, she was playing too hard. Yes, she needed to play that hard. And obviously, you're one of the people who can go out. You gotta, at the merge, you kind of gotta make a move, right? But in this case, she was playing hard, which on its own maybe wouldn't be a bad thing, but she got painted the brush as somebody who can be trusted, and now everybody's like, yeah, we can't trust her. Easy decision.
Yeah.
What do you think? Anything else?
No, I think you pretty much said
Okay.
why she cannot be trusted.
Yeah, and again, it was her fault, and then also it was the situation that she got put in. So if she would have
she didn't get put into a situation, she got herself into that situation.
Well, yes, but Gabler throwing it out is what I'm saying. Gabler throwing that out hurt her for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she would have, taken a back seat, which I think she was physically unable to do. I mean, she was at one vote. And it's just her second vote. Second time she's going to tribal council, and we haven't been able to tell if she's been able to sit back and not play the game hard. Because she's only been 2 votes.
Yeah, I doubt
and I don't think she can play the game any way other than go.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
Control.
And again, if you want to do it at the final 7.
Yeah.
Don't do it at the final 13.
Yeah.
So, play too hard for sure. And again, when you get painted in that light, they're not going to see you in any other light because they don't know you.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Let's talk about the bottom 3 then.
Sounds grand.
Who is in the bottom 3?
Bottom 3, Janine.
Yeah, why Janine?
Oh, man. I mean, she's on her own at this point. She's got no real good alliance left. I mean, when Ellie's name got thrown out during the feast, did she interject then, or was it when they got back? I think she said it then, or was it in her confessional that why'd he say something, because she's just going to go back to Ellie, but
Yeah.
right. She doesn't have any true alliance left to protect her in the game.
No, for sure. And I think, it's one thing where somebody says, oh, she's not going to be in the merge, so you don't have to throw your idol on her because she goes out. She can't be mad at you for not playing your idol on her. But in this case, I think she should have played her idol on her because the idol's great, but ally is way more important.
Right.
And if you could have gotten, you could have got rid of Gabler or whatever, or the votes bounce back on James, you break up Carlin James, which again is fine. They don't know Carlin James are a thing, but it's still, you're a member of the blue team, and the blue team seems pretty tight. And then you also, you can be like, hey, Gabler's coming for her. I had to save her. We can't trust Gabler. Now, Gabler can be a target, whatever. But she has her idol, which is great. I'll give her through one more vote. But at that point, I'd rather have an idol. I'd rather have an ally than an idol.
Yeah, I don't know really how well it would have worked out, though, because, I mean, she already planted that seed with Cody and stuff, too, and then blowing things up and not discussing it with anybody. And I don't know how much further Ellie would have helped Janine get into the game.
No, you're right. But I think in idol, you can play idol on yourself to save yourself one more vote, but
yeah.
I don't think that's going to do much good for you.
Right. Not usually.
And like I said, so she was left out of it, left out of the numbers, so she's definitely on the bottom. She's the only member of that alliance left, right? Mm-hmm. And now she's alone. The good news is she has an idol, so she should survive one more vote at least. But again, you got to do some damage control and try to reconnect. Obviously, I was thinking about it the whole time. I'm like, if she doesn't play her idol on Ellie, it's okay because you just say, oh, I didn't think you were going, so I didn't want to waste it.
Yeah.
But then and she's on the jury, so she can't hold you accountable. But again, I'd rather have an ally and not an idol than an idol and no ally.
True.
So I think Janine's in a tough spot. Obviously, she may survive one vote because of the idol, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Gabler.
Yeah, I got to put Gabler in bottom 3. Why is that?
I mean, he blew stuff up and he threw out Sammy and Owen's name on top of saying how Ellie went through his bag within the first 3 days. I mean, he's just not in a great position. He might be able to save some of the fractured allies he's got, but he might not get people working with him because they might not trust him.
Yeah, and I don't know why he would do that. I mean, again, if you want to go individually, people say, hey, I really don't trust Ellie. If you want to make a move, I'm with you. Great, but throwing that out in front of 6 other people is just not smart.
Because he's mad.
He's mad. It's emotional.
Yep, a lot of people are playing emotionally.
A lot of people do. That's a bad thing.
I know. Ellie did too.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people
She's
do.
really good at this game, huh?
Well, she always, people always say that and they always go out. But for Gabler's in the bottom 3 because, again, if you want to make that move, great. But, I mean, it might be, if you don't trust Ellie, work with her for 2 more votes if you need to. Get the numbers on your side. Get rid of James, get rid of Cass, get rid of Carla, whatever, and then start working on the Reds, right? And you do what you need to do. But, like, the fact that they threw that out, he blew up his, if I'm one of his allies, I don't really trust him. Now, obviously, he threw them under the bus to Ellie, which doesn't matter, but because she's gone. But, like, again, the fact that he'd be willing to do that and throw out a name in front of 6 people, not, if I'm Owen or if I'm Jesse, I'm like, do I really trust him now? Or Owen or Sammy, I'm like, do I really trust him now?
Right.
I don't really know if I can.
Probably not.
So, big problem. But
and he's got no more idol left.
and his idol's all right. And I said, if you're gonna do that, at least build an ally with somebody else using that idol.
Yeah, I kind of thought he might throw it on somebody.
He should have. Malcolm in his season had an idol. He's like, I'm taking it home for my mom and give it to her for her birthday, and he got voted out, like because he couldn't. And obviously, he couldn't use that idol anymore, right? But if Malcolm, what Malcolm should have done his season, he takes Abby, who nobody liked, throw the idol on her, get rid of somebody else, and now everyone wants to get rid of Abby. He's going to the end. Right, instead they are of Abby, and he's the next biggest threat.
Right.
So never have an advantage that you don't use. If you can use it, use it.
Yeah.
And he didn't use it, and I think it's going to cost him later. I do. I don't think he's going out next, but I think he could have made a big move of that, and he ended up wasting it.
Yeah.
So, what is next?
Owen's
in the bottom 3. Why? This one's tough.
I mean, I'm not really sure. He's got some decent alliances, but it just seems like he's floating, I guess. I really don't know. What's your opinion?
Just the only reason I have him here is because he voted with Ellie. And he threw it.
That's right. I almost forgot.
Yeah, he threw that vote on James.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, so I don't know if he just trusted Ellie and thought he was just blindsided, or if he just didn't want to vote against Ellie, so he went with what she was doing, knowing that James wasn't going anywhere. I don't really know, but it was strange because the first 4 votes were for 4 different people. It was for James, Ellie, Cassidy, and Owen. So he also got a vote. So which was I think was Carla threw it on him, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird. And I don't know if he's just like the decoy or whatever, but like the fact that his name's even out there is kind of a problem. And then the fact that he voted the wrong way is a problem too. And I don't know if he just did it because he didn't know the actual plan. But everybody, I mean, Carla voted for Owen. Noelle voted for Cass, and then Janine and Ellie voted for James. Everybody else voted for Ellie. So either there's another plan going on that we don't know about, or people are very out of the loop.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
And the only one who was, and there was a decoy. They said, "Oh, we're gonna split on Cass and on James." So those make sense. The vote for Owen makes no sense, but maybe again protect against the idol. I really don't know, but. The fact that they're like, well, who can we lose if they go to tribal and there's an idol played? Well, Owen, that not good for Owen.
Right.
He's not in a very great spot. So I don't think he is.
No, I can agree with that.
So who's in the top 3 then?
Jesse? Question mark.
Yeah, Jesse. We had to throw somebody in there. I had 2 of them were pretty easy, but he voted with the numbers. He seems to be in a good spot, and I feel like now it's 4, 4, and 4. I feel like the 4 leaders of their original tribes are the 3 leaders of the original tribes are the ones who are in the best spot.
So who? Jesse, Carla, and...
Well, let's spoil it, yes.
Well, I'm just saying who are the 3 of each tribe. Oh, basically our top 3.
Yeah, exactly, our top 3.
Sorry, okay.
Spoiler.
Whatever. Shut up.
So that's where I'm going to put Jesse. Again, he didn't really necessarily do anything this week, but when it's pretty much a unanimous vote, it's hard to say anything else. It's hard.
Also not naive and doesn't fall for people's crap.
Right. He's been around. He knows what's going on. Right. Dwight, I think, is kind of naive. I think Noel's kind of naive. And I think Cody's kind of just a mess.
Yeah.
So I think of that team, if that team wins, I think it's like, okay, if you say and it was weird too because Ryan could be on bottom 3 too because he said like this is the final 7 right here, and it's like
Yeah, it was just an awkward moment, but
super awkward. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He just says things. But for me, like you said, if you take the 4 original members of each tribe down to the end, right? If all the 4 reds in the final 4, all the 4 blues in the final 4, all the 4 yellows in the final 4, who's probably winning of that group? Well, of the reds, it's got to be Jesse.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I think Jesse, if his team prevails, I think he's going to be in a really good spot. His team may not prevail, and it's very rare that you have a final 12 with 4 members of the 3 original tribes left.
Yeah.
It's very rare. But if Jesse's team prevails, I think he's going to win. And that's why he's in the top 3.
Sounds good.
Who else is in the top 3? Who's number 2?
Sammy, the other lead.
Sammy.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
So Sammy's definitely in the best spot. Obviously, Gabler's polarized. Owen's kind of in between the two. And then Janine's on the outs. So again, Sammy was voted with the numbers, and he did vote against Ellie, even though he was somewhat aligned with Ellie, but he was definitely way 100% closer with Owen and with Gabler.
Yeah.
So whatever way they went, he went. The numbers went that way. He did it appeasing Gabler, and so I think again, if that tribe was on the final 4, who would they give the money to? The 19-year-old.
Sammy, the young kid.
Who they think is 22, but
Correct.
But yeah, again, the leader of his tribe, right?
Yeah.
And so the top player, the performer of the week, and this one I was between James a little bit because again, James survived and he's been doing a pretty good job. But there's one player who's been consistently in a good spot, consistently doing a good job. Kind of the Omer of last season. I feel
Let's
like
not say that though, because it didn't happen
I know.
well.
I know.
Don't put that title on her.
I know.
Her.
But definitely controlling a lot of the game and subtly doing it, making good relationships, and that's the key. Because Ellie was playing a hard game too, but didn't have the bonds to fall back on, whereas Carla does.
Yeah.
And so Carla is our player of the week once again. She's got good relationships with everybody. There's nobody who's like, we don't like Carla. And when you have the relationships, you can manipulate the game without people knowing it.
Yeah, because you can kind of put it into people's ears what you want them to be thinking. Get
Make it
the
seem
wheels turning.
Yeah.
It's your idea. You
Exactly.
came up with that idea, not
Exactly
me.
correct.
Like, who do you think? No, maybe the other one. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and the social game is the currency. You build the currency with the social game, and then unless they bring back the fire tokens, that's the currency. You use the social bonds and you use your social capital in the game to make moves. And Carla is doing it really, really well right now. So I think she's in a good spot. And she's doing a good job.
Yeah. I love how she just started sipping on her beer and Ryan's like, oh, top 7. She's like the Kermit. Ain't none of my business, though. I'm out of this conversation.
Right. And it's such a smart thing to do. I mean, the biggest thing, one of the best things you can do is for our players listen well. If you listen well, you're in a good spot. And we've had some therapists not do well lately, which is funny.
So bad.
Yeah. And like Denise is one of the greatest players ever, and she's a therapist, but a sex therapist.
That's different. That is completely different.
It's similar.
Psychoanalyst.
Is that what she was?
I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, so, but yeah, so I mean, Carla's in a good spot. She's playing a good social game. She's maneuvering well, and nobody's pointing at her like, oh, she's a threat. She could get, again, if that team gets to the Final Four, James has a case to make, but I think Carla wins if they get to the Final Four. So that's kind of how I kind of took it this week. It's like, it was pretty much a unanimous vote. It was a pretty easy decision. So if the 4 that are left from each tribe are the Final Four, who's winning from that group? Jesse, probably Sammy,
Definitely Carla.
Definitely Carla.
Definitely. There's no probably. She's been able to keep everything she's done secret. Like, nobody knows she's got an idol.
Yeah.
So
as long as she plays well, because sometimes if you gave too much of a secret, it's a problem too. But
yeah, I know,
sure.
but
for sure.
yeah.
So I think Carla though is in the best spot, and she's been in the best spot I think the whole season. So she's the player of the week once again this week. Anything else to add, Jessica?
I do not think so.
Well, thanks. It was a lot quieter this week. No animals barking and being a pain in the butt. But So I appreciate that. Jessica, appreciate you being a part of it, as always.
Oh, you're welcome.
And we'll see what happens for next week. But be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. You can email the show directly, pavementproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, tell your friends. We'll be back next week with another episode of Survivor Recap. We'll have our Amazing Race Recap coming out here soon as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of the show. And I hope you like the format, keeping about 30, 35 minutes and not go too long. And we'll definitely try to keep it to this pace going forward. But until next time, I got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken.